Explanation of who National Museums Scotland are. Scotland's National Museum Service. There's 5 museum sites throughout the country, covering a diverse range of subject matter. We've got pigs, costume, airplanes. We've also got a collection centre here in Edinburgh, which has got all the stuff that isn't on display in the museums, where there's millions and millions of things in storage. The National Museum of Scotland is our kind of, I guess, the jewel in the crown of our museums in Chambers Street, recently reopened after a major refurbishment. I'm going to talk a little bit about how we used social media for that. The 5 principles, kind of the strategic governance, if you like, for what we do with digital are sort of boiled down to this. The snackable content being readily available is really important, because people do snack, they dip in and out of information rather than, as much as you would like them to, kind of reading screeds and absorbing everything you put up. So it's trying to think about how you can tell stories in 10 seconds rather than 10 minutes, and that's then something that can be taken away and shared. On the 29th of July 2011, last year, the National Museum of Scotland reopened its doors after about a 3-year refurbishment process. We previewed a Twitter hashtag early on, New NMS, and there was kind of this wave of love, if you like, on the day, and we were sort of trending all over Scotland, various parts of the UK, some odd parts of the world as well. So kind of really sort of symbolising that this was a big event. How do we do this? I mean, we leaked content a month or so before we reopened, particular emphasis on the 10 days prior to reopening, so really kind of pushing that. We focused on timeliness rather than perfection. You know, snapshots around the city of our marketing campaign in action, which then quickly tweeted or put in our Facebook profile. Takeaways, as I say, established social media as a serious channel for us. What sometimes frustrates me about when people talk about social media is they think about it as sort of this thing on its own. It couldn't have gone it alone. We had a canny advertising campaign that was well placed around the city. We had a PR campaign that had been going for sort of 2 years, basically since the building shut down. It's part of a suite of communication tools, and that the heart of everything is a great product. I'm probably over time already. So I want to talk briefly about one of the mobile experiments that we've done. Content, not the code, so focus on what the output is rather than the QR code in itself. These are photos of all my encounters with QR codes over the course of a weekend. Actually, it wasn't all encounters because there were too many. They are this thing that has suddenly kind of popped up everywhere. What's intriguing to me is that 15 of those don't work properly. They either don't resolve the URL, they're pushing content to a non-mobile optimized page. So despite the fact that QR codes are not really understood and don't really work, I still wanted to have a little bit of a trial and try and use best practice guidelines as much as possible. We had a kind of an exhibition called 26 Treasures, where 26 writers were paired with an object within our galleries. They then wrote this response piece, and we recorded each of those writers. So we had 26 pieces of audio. So this was basically doing an audio tour using QR codes. Key takeaways: uptake was low. Month and a half these were in place. There were less than 1,000 codes accessed. So if there's 26 codes within there, yeah, the maths are pretty small if you're thinking about people doing the full audio journey. And over the total page views, a lot more people came to look and listen to the information on our actual website. What was key, and this is really useful for further interpretation experiments, is context is important. So the most striking and visible code got used far, far more than all the others. It's sitting next to an object called the Maiden, which is a guillotine, so it's used to execute people with a slight sense of intrigue about that already. So it's kind of pairing the right stuff with the mobile experiences is useful for us as well. But all in all, for us, a useful piece of experimentation, which is definitely kind of informing where we're going to be going with mobile, certainly as an interpretation device. And with that, thank you.